Welcome to the Copper King Mine and Railroad. Today we're going to talk about aerial trams. They had four at Bingham Canyon Mine. So stay tuned.
As you walk into my train room, the first thing you notice is the large Copper King Mine loading station. Now this is based on the Silver King loading station up in Park City, Utah. So here's some pictures of the loading station, what was up in Park City. It burned down in the early 80s. It was a shame. It was a grand old building. There's some drawings of it. So the ores came down from the mines by the way of this aerial tram. They would load these buckets here in the mine, and then they'd come down and dump them down in this unloading station, and then they'd put them into train cars. So now I'm saying this because Bingham Canyon had four aerial trams, and we'll go look at some of the pictures up in Bingham Canyon. But I was looking at the plans for my layout, and at one time I was going to run an aerial tram from my little mine, what I have, over to this loading station. I haven't done it yet. So this is my loading station right here, as you can see. Let me see if I can get around here and show you the side of it. These openings right here, these two large openings on that top right there is where the bucket trams was going to come in and out of my loading station right there. Because that's the same as Park City's. I needed to build a little platform out on that also. Then from here it went over to the other side, and I was going to build a tower right here, and then tower is going up this mountainside right here. Then I'd have to build towers and the cable line going up over this mountain to my little mine, what's in the valley on the other side of this mountain. Let's see if we can show you. So it'd be going up over here, and then the mine is over here. So I'd have to have a top terminal right here with the bucket trams, aerial tram right there. So maybe I'll do that. So let's go look at the aerial trams in Bingham Canyon. That'll be fun. I want to give a special thanks to Don Strack for permission to use some of his photos from his UtahRails.net website. So check that website out for all the trains in Utah and for Bingham Canyon history. It's really neat. So let's look at these trams coming out of Bingham Canyon. Like I said, there was four of them. There was three coming out of Car Fork. There's some grand old pictures of these. Look at these guys riding this tramway going to work. I'll show you some pictures of how high these were. It's kind of scary thing to do. So they had to have these tramways because the train came up the canyon, but it only stopped at a place called Frogtown. That was in Lower Bingham. And so to get the ore down to the trains so they could take it to the smelter, they built these aerial tramways. The one they had one for Pilot Boy Mine. It started in 1899, and it lasted until 1910, delivering to Frogtown. But then it changed direction in 1910, and it went over the Ochre Mountains, moving west to the International Smelter, and that was in Tooele. We'll show you some pictures of the towers and stuff. Changed direction, went over to the Tooele. Look at these inside pictures of these aerial trams, and there's some great pictures. You can see it's just like a ski lift. Actually, these buckets would come off the cable and release, and then so they could unload them and load them. Now this is the Highland Boy Mine right here. You can see the aerial tram cables going right into it. Here's some diagrams of the Highland Boy upper ore bins there. some other diagrams of it. Now, this terminal building was for the Apex mine. 1906 to 1914 is when they had their aerial tram. Here's the upper aerial tram. You can see it way up in the mountains. It's kind of hard to see out of that picture. Some other pictures of it. Then the third one, what was up in Carfork area, was the Yampa terminal building. This is the terminal building for the mine. Now, this was interesting because it went right down into the Yampa smelter. Now, Yampa smelter was right down in Frogtown. I'll show you some pictures of that. It went right into the smelter, so they didn't have to unload it and load it back up and take it down to the smelters in Midvale or Murray. And then going the other direction up the canyon, where the canyon split, it went up to United States Mining Company, and their aerial tramway lasted 1902 to 1914. This is a neat picture of the U.S. mine terminal, aerial tram terminal. They don't have very many pictures of this, and it serviced the Galena mine and the Jordan mine. That's some of the first claims up in Bingham. Now look at this picture. Look, see how high these tram buckets are over the little city of Bingham right here, coming down to the lower terminals. Now, like I said, this is down in Frogtown, lower Bingham. Here's a picture of the terminal building. It must have been an early picture because they start building more down in here. Here's some diagrams of it. And you can see here's the trains that came up from the valley. And they load the ore into the trains and then deliver them to the smelters down in Midvale or Murray. Now these aerial trams, they're coming out of the U.S. mine. It's going a different direction. This is a 1906 pictures of Frogtown and the terminal buildings. Head house buildings, I guess they call them. Now look at this picture. This is when it was at full swing. You can see the steam engines bursting steam up, and the two old great big tram buildings here, and in the background, you can even see the Yampa smelter back there. And we talked about that. This is the Yampa smelter, the tram lines coming into it. This other picture is looking up the canyon. You see the lines running into the smelter there. This picture was taken in 1908. So that's the aerial trams in Bingham Canyon.